Hi, welcome to today's video where I'll be showcasing how you can integrate your workflows between Databricks and YData Fabric. To start with, I'm in my Databricks environment where I can check what datasets do I have in my catalog. For that, I'll be just clicking here in the catalog, and right away I'll be having a good idea of what my data sources are available, which data can I use for exploration. And in this case, because I want to ensure integration with external systems like YData Fabric, I need to make sure that my data is configured for sharing. For that purpose, I need to create a share data or a new recipient on my Delta sharing. This is where, or this is the environment where you need to configure which tables and which schemas do you want to share. This will allow you to create what is called to be the configuration of a share. And as soon as you create different shares, you can also configure credentials and access to the external systems. As you can see here, I already have one created, and this is exactly what you see. So this is for test purposes. I have here my Berka database created, and inside of my schema, my Berka schema, I can see at least all the tables that are available. So I have here the transactions, but I also have available all the drift and profile that were actually calculated at the level of the Unity catalog. So let's jump into YData Fabric so we can start or create the integration that I need in order to, for example, generate synthetic data. Jumping into YData Fabric, you can see here this is the home page of the platform. As soon as I'm in the home page, I already know that I need to consume the data that I have available in that Databricks. For that purpose, I'm going to jump into my data catalog and add a new data set. Here I have several connectors that are as option, but I know that I need to connect to my Databricks Unity catalog, remembering that I want to consume the data that I have enabled through the Delta sharing. I'm going to select, and with my Delta sharing credentials, I'm going to create a new Databricks connector. I'll be testing connections just to ensure that my credentials actually have access to the data that I want to consume. As soon as I have my connection tested and validated, I can create my connector. This will give me access to all the tables and schemas that were actually shared through the Delta sharing and allow me to select which table do I want to read and create as a data source here at the level of YData Fabric. I just need to give it a name and select the table that I want to use for downstream applications like synthetic data generation. Selecting the transactions, I can also detect automatically any potential PII, add a new description, add a tag. This will just enrich the information that I have about my data set. Click on Create Dataset, and this will prepare a new data source. While it's preparing the new data source, it's also extracting some valuable data quality metrics that will be available not only for purposes of pre-processing your data with YData Fabric, like missing data imputation, but also will allow you to get a better perspective on how you can generate or configure your synthetic data generation through this information. So for example, if you have imbalanced, you might just want to generate synthetic data that actually can um, overcome the limitations of having an imbalanced data set and you have new balanced classes, for instance. That's why these metrics are really relevant for the process of using YData Fabric. My data set is ready. I can now create a synthetic data generation and have it configured through Fabric. For that, I can just join here the synthetic data, create a new synthetic data generator. For that, I just need to select this data set that was read from my Databricks Unity catalog, confirm if everything is okay with the metadata. For some of the variables, for example, like transactions ID, I might want to add a regex just for purposes of masking, for example. And for that, I just need to configure here the regex. This will allow me to add an extra layer of privacy and protection and even to enable better augmentation process. So now I just give a name to my synthesizer, select the target. This is just for purposes of quality of the synthesis. In this case, I don't want to be focusing so much on the target, so I don't have the need to select it for my data quality report. I'm going for high fidelity just because I want to have the data as similar as possible to the original one, and clicking save. This will uh, be allowing me to generate and train a synthetic data generator that I'll be later on using with code environments. As soon as our synthetic data generator is trained, we can, of course, jump into the details of the synthesizer. I'm able to check the quality of the synthetic data generation in depth, but I can also generate some synthetic data records. I can either generate them through the UI by just giving some the number of rows that I want to generate. But of course, in this case, and because I have my original data in Databricks, I want to make sure that I use the synthetic data back in my Databricks environment and platform. For example, in this case, I might just want to combine the synthetic data with the real one for augmentation purposes, or I might just want to give a more privacy preserving data set to my data engineering team or data science teams that are working with the data. So for that, I need to ensure that my synthetic data generators from YData easily integrate with different ecosystems such as Databricks. Let me show you how you can do it. Uh, to to do that, you need to ensure that you copy this code snippet, or that you have, for example, the ID of your synthetic data generated copied as well, in case you have a recipe notebook already in your Databricks environment, as I do. So let's jump into Databricks. Um, for that, I'm going to join my workspace, and inside my workspace, I already have a folder dedicated to synthetic data generation. As soon as I open, I have here my YData Fabric notebook where I'm just importing the client that will allow me to communicate between Databricks and YData Fabric to use the synthetic data generation method. I'm going to authenticate to Fabric using the token. You can get access to the token through the UI of YData Fabric. It's available right at your home page. Here you can see and copy the token. After ensuring your authentication, you can just ensure that you are instantiating your synthesizer, and for that, um, you just need to add here the ID that you have just copied from Fabric. As soon as you get the synthesizer, you can generate as many samples as you wish. As you can see here, I have generated 5 new records, and I have ensured that I saved them as a CSV inside of my Databricks environment. I hope you have enjoyed.